Before we get started, do me a favor and smash that like button. I'd appreciate it. All right. Good afternoon, LT. We're going to talk a little bit about the recent event down in Texas called Consensus 2022 and get your thoughts on that. So take it away, LT.
Good afternoon, Teddy. Yeah, I was just reading through some articles on the Coin Telegraph this morning and came across this one. And they were talking about Consensus 2022. Usually I'm looking for articles that say something directly about Theta and what's going on with Theta and that kind of thing. And this didn't. It's more of an overview of a conference that took place in Houston. And so I was reading through the article, and what I picked up on was what they're talking about. At least this person, the writer of this article, is Rachel Wolfson. Article's dated June 14th of 2022. So this is last week when the article came out. I believe the conference ended last week as well. So it's a fresh article, and a new conference that they just had. The conference was from June 9th to June 12th. So anyway, I thought it was interesting. A few things that I picked out of the article that I thought was interesting that I thought I would share is that one, the attendance, the number of attendees at the conference. They point out in the article that the consensus of 2018 drew almost 9,000 attendees, and in the consensus 2022 had more than 20,000 people attending. So, and they were from around the globe. And so that's quite an increase in 4 years in the number of attendees at the conference, more than double. So I thought, well, that means it's well attended. There are seems to be a lot of people interested in what's going on, what's being talked about. The other thing they brought out is the types of people that were there, in that there were people from across the industry, people from lawmakers, people from the financial community, and so on. So quite a large spectrum of people there at the conference, and so I thought that was actually a plus. And so I, in reading down through the article, it jumps right into the fact that they're talking a lot about Web3 and the new tools that are going to be developed to advance the ecosystem, the crypto ecosystem, and what it talked about what the hot topics were. And so, the hot topics seem to be, to me, the things that we are interested in. And so it says in quotes here, this a person that was attending, this person is Chief Strategic Officer of CoinShares, Meltem Demirel, and says there are different niches of pockets of crypto. This is what he said. I'm now seeing, some of which I haven't heard of. For example, the Stepping Group is here, which is a whole move to earn movement. The music NFT and the fashion NFT is also big here. These are newer communities I've read about and I've engaged with, but seeing them congregate and host their own events have been really fun, end quote. So he's seeing this new movement, new grouping of people there, and it's people from the music NFT and the fashion NFT scene. And whenever I read that, I thought, wow, they're talking about Theta with the digital rights management and that Theta has with the CAA corporation that is has a validator node. By the way, that validator node was invested in and created, put out there before Theta dropped the requirement of 2 million Theta. They already had the node, so they have skin in the game, so to speak. This is something that they are interested in, having a lot of talent under contract that they represent. So, Mike, this is exactly what Theta is designed for, is these types of things. The NFT space, which we know the 3.0 was held up by almost 4 months because they wanted to make sure they got the NFT layer put on the blockchain so they could do NFTs.
The release of Mainnet 3.0 is what you're referring to.
Exactly. Yes. So anyway, from what I'm reading in this article, as far as the what they're seeing, what's being talked about, a large movement, as it's described in this article, is this big movement of music NFT and fashion NFT scene. And, that's the fashion NFT. That's when I read that, I remember DeGard speaking of the G-Twins and developing the G-Twin store, or developing the tool bag or the tool set that somebody could then develop a storefront to do fashion articles that would go on to your avatar, that you would associate with your avatar. So it'd be the clothing, the watch, the hat or sunglasses or tennis shoes or clothing, whatever it is you outfit your avatar with to represent you in the metaverse. And of course we know that's the next big thing in Theta is the meta chain that is going to be able to support an infinite number of businesses that come along. And we know that the G-World, G-Pool team, now G-World, is building a metaverse to go along with the G-Twins that they're also working on, and the NFT designer store type storefronts. So these are all things that are being worked on right now, that are being developed. Seems to be much slower than any of us want it to take. We all want things to be done, today. But, hey, why wasn't this done yesterday? Kind of attitude. But the fact is, it takes a lot of time to develop these things.
Oh yeah.
And we're impatient.
Software development can take years, depending on what it is that you're wanting to accomplish.
Right. So anyway, just reading down through the article, they give a couple of examples actually of this type of thing that's happening. They put it in terms of which I don't know if I would use the term that they use, but of a cult, that there's cult-like groups that are coming together around certain ideas or certain genres, such as fashion or Web3 development, or looking at the music NFT and music industry. So we can definitely see that NFTs are a huge part of what's coming, as well as the metaverse. And basically, from what DGuard, from what we learned in conversation with DGuard some time ago, is that these different clothing or accessories or things that you can put on your twin, your avatar that would be in the metaverse, that it's going to take somebody designing those things, building those things, and setting up that storefront. So that's what the G World and G Pool team is wanting to do, is put together that tool set and make that easy to do. We also know not just them, but the Theta board team is putting together a tool set to make it easy for designers or artists to build NFTs. And we tend to think of NFTs as, digital art, but it can actually be anything. And in the case of this that they're talking about here, it's fashion. It's putting together those things that would represent you however you'd like to be represented within that metaverse that they're also working and building right now.
The interesting thing that he brought up when we were talking to him about the NFTs, the clothing and that to go with your G-Twin, was the ability for you to be able to take that G-Twin and all of its accessories over into other metaverses, such as Sandbox and what's that other big one, Decentraland, that you'd be able to take that avatar along with all of the accessories that you bought. Because they're NFTs, you'd be able to take that over into another metaverse and go into that other metaverse wearing the party dress that you bought or whatever it might be, to represent yourself. It's kind of cool.
It is. Yeah, very cool. And a lot more complicated than just in hearing DGuard talk about it, as far as sizing all that. If your avatar is, say a gorilla in this metaverse, but then you want to use those NFTs, say a shirt that fits a gorilla, but now then you want to use that shirt on a different avatar you have that is, say, a likeness of yourself, then you need a shirt that's smaller,
So it automatically resize
NFT. Yeah, so building it so that it resizes for the different size avatars you might have to represent you from one metaverse into another and so on. That's that's forward thinking right there. That's thinking beyond the expedient. Oh, well, let's build this and we'll put these on there and we'll make it like this. Oh, they're thinking beyond that, and that if it becomes necessary to have different sizes, well, how do we make that happen with that NFT itself? So anyway, as I was reading through this article, I was just seeing this kind of thing pop out. I was like, well, these are the things that we're interested in. These are the things that your core audience is interested in. And what does Theta do? What does G-Pool do? And they do these things that are being talked about and discussed at these conferences. So,
yeah, by the way,
I brought that to your attention.
Let's talk about Web3 just for a moment. For those that don't know what Web3 refers to, a very simple concept is, and the article mentions it, I believe, is the move from the big centralized platforms to the decentralized platforms, which is the direction that the Theta network is going to, decentralized. And so having that DRM NFT, is so much more important when it comes to a decentralized platform for music, as an example, because on YouTube, as an example, if I use a piece of copyrighted material, YouTube will censor it. But on a decentralized platform, there is no central authority to police that, and so those DRM NFTs are very important when it comes to the decentralized aspect, and that's what Web3 is about, from what I understand.
Exactly. It's right. It's figuring out how to do all these functions, and in fact, most of us don't even understand or realize all the functions that take place for a particular thing to happen. It just happens seamlessly in the background. But when you're talking about, and there'd be some company basically that provides that service that makes that happen seamlessly. And so when you're talking about Web3 and you want these functions to happen, well, there has to be a way for that to happen without there being a company in the background. So, for example, and we'll just use the big gorilla in the room, Facebook. Well, or like, let's use yours, YouTube, right? YouTube is providing that function of making sure that there's not copyrighted material that's being disseminated inappropriately across its platform, right? And in the case you talked about, a particular song or something of that nature. So if you're going to have a decentralized platform, how do you do that where they're not going to be going through all the videos and doing all these things to stop the unauthorized use of the copyrighted material. So yeah, that right now I've been over the past 3 weeks I've been buying an NFT every week, and the NFT that I buy allows me to watch a video of a particular content creator, right? And he is creating content that is basically geared directly toward the technical analysis of theta and T-fuel.
And it's very timely information that he puts out, from what I understand.
Right. And he puts out the video every Sunday. You have from Wednesday through Saturday to buy that NFT. And with that NFT, I'm able to go, you don't have to log in. I go to his website and say I want to watch the video. Well, then it immediately says I have to link my wallet. And so I link my wallet to his website, and it checks my wallet for that NFT. And whenever it says, okay, I have the NFT, it allows that video to play. And so I can go back and watch the video again if I want to. And I could take that NFT actually and sell it to you, say, or somebody else, and sell that NFT, and then that next person could watch that video. Now, because of the digital rights management, if I sell it, that same creator is going to get paid whenever I sell the NFT as well. It's going to get a percentage of that sale.
So if it passes through 2 or 3 different hands, he's going to get paid every hand that it passes through.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool technology, what he's doing.
Exactly. And he's using Theta API in his website to create the videos or post the videos. So, I mean, you have to learn to crawl before you can walk, and you have to learn to walk before you can run. And that's what I'm seeing happening right now. It's been very interesting to learn and understand, or try to understand. I'm slow, but try to understand how this technology is going to be used in the future, and does it have a future? That's what I'm trying to evaluate. I've put some of my resources into it, and I want to watch that and make sure it's growing as it should. So when I read this article, and they're talking about these things that are being discussed and groups that are forming around these particular areas, and I'm like, man, those areas are areas that I'm invested in through these other entities, and Theta Labs being one, and then of course G-World being the other. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you and say, hey, let's bring it to your audience. So that's what's happening. What's happening is what they said is going to happen. It's not fast. It's not overnight. But we are seeing progress. So
yeah, and this video, is proof positive that LT still exists. I know you haven't heard a video from you in a while, but you are still out there.
Yeah. Well,
I've told people I talk to you almost every day. So just because there isn't a video of you and I talking, doesn't mean that you and I aren't in contact. Almost every day.
Right. Yeah. We do tend to speak most mornings.
Yeah.
At least once a day. So, just other things going on. I've been very busy, and there's not been a whole lot of development. There's been a few things that have developed over the past few weeks, but they're things that pretty much in general we've talked about. This got me kind of excited whenever I read through it. So I thought, well, let's talk about this. So,
yeah, new content.
Anyway, new content. Yeah, new content. They're actually working on it. It's actually coming through. So the other part of this particular article that they tend to spend quite a bit of time on is crypto regulation and the landscape of crypto regulation in the United States. So we will see some regulation coming along this year, according to the article. Which,
and I think one important thing about the crypto regulation aspect is I'm happy to see that there were some of our legislatures were actually in attendance, because if they're out there making laws about something, they should really know what the heck they're talking about before they make a law. So the fact that they were represented there was a good thing, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. So that was an interesting thing. I was going to say that some friends of mine that are not into crypto, then every now and then they catch a snippet of news somewhere about regulating crypto, and they'll ask me about it as if for some reason I would not welcome it. Oh, what about this? Crypto being regulated. I bet that's a problem. I said, no, actually it's not. You want to see regulation, because that regulation is what is going to help companies understand what they can or can't do. It's going to help protect the investor, the person that's wanting to maybe get involved. And so regulation is actually a good thing, I believe. Of course,
when it's done right.
Some structures, some framework, but there's some regulation that we should expect coming, and right now I think there's actually kind of a little arm wrestling going on between the CFTC and the SEC about who should regulate what, and so once they get that figured out and we get a few regulations out there, then that'll help people understand how to better serve the community that they're trying to serve, and provide a framework. If the regulation actually provides the framework for the company to build and work within, and that's welcomed from my viewpoint. Anybody that doesn't want that framework, doesn't want regulations, well, they're probably trying to do something that is not
Kosher.
to your best interest. Therefore, therefore, you probably don't want to be associated with them. So
That's why I think we should get the
regulations.
CFTC in there, because they've done such a good job making sure there's no manipulation in the silver market.
Oh yeah. Yes, there can also be some problems within the agencies themselves and what they do and how they work, but still regulation helps provide the structure that's needed to make sure we have companies that are acting in good faith and working to produce a product that people can get behind.
Yeah, I think the idea
and know
of
that they're
regulation that says if you go onto an exchange and you buy some Bitcoin, that they don't just put a number in your wallet, that they actually obtain the Bitcoin that you're buying. That's the kind of regulation
Exactly.
I'd like to see.
right. That the exchanges themselves have to deliver the product that you've paid for.
Like they
Not
say,
just,
not your keys, not
provided
your
a-
crypto.
Right.
Use the exchange to buy it and to sell it, but don't use the exchange to store it.
That's right. And that we don't need regulation for that.
No, that's
we
just
just need
personal
to
behavior,
be
taking
taking care of that
responsibility.
ourselves. That's right. Exactly.
And we're at 27 minutes.
Well, without going into all this regulation stuff, that was the other part of this article that they spent quite a bit of time on, and that we should expect to see some regulations coming down the pike for the crypto world, and I think we should have them.
Yeah,
So,
I think
we'll see.
Rob
We'll see what happens.
of Digital Asset News had mentioned, right now it's a big piece of legislation that he expects that it will probably end up being broken out into several smaller pieces of regulation rather than one huge regulation, and I agree that that's probably the case.
Right. And I believe Rob from Digital Asset News, he was there at the conference itself, so
Yeah.
and was actually participating in the conference as a speaker, so and panel member. So
Yeah, he's a good channel
he
to
was right
subscribe
there.
to. For those that don't know,
Sure.
Digital Asset News is the name of his channel, and his name is Rob. So go give him a sub.
Exactly. Yeah, he's good. Breaks information down to bite-sized pieces, as he says. So,
And he puts out a video pretty much every day.
Yep, sure does.
Yeah.
So, and answers questions. So that's good
Yes.
too.
At
So,
the end of every one, he does a
Anyway.
Q&A for about 5 minutes. He
right.
initially does it live, and then it's available for replay if you don't catch it live. And I think he breaks it after it's over. He breaks it out into two separate videos. The Q&A being one video, and the rest of it being another video. But if you catch it live, you'll
Right.
get both of them all at one time.
Right.
So it's well worth.
Yep.
I listen to him every day.
well worth the time keeping up on the industry as a as a whole, really.
Yeah, he's not
Um,
focused on Theta.
and
He's
so
focused on the crypto industry.
right. So anyway, I just thought this was an interesting article. Like I said, you can find it on if anybody's interested in it. And I guess Teddy, I sent you the link, so you could probably post it there.
Yeah, I
Um,
can pin it
but it's
in the comment section
right.
so people can go look at it.
Cointelegraph. Rachel Wolfson's the author, and it's Consensus 2022 Web3 Unpacking Regulation and Optimism for Crypto's Future. So,
Yeah.
good article. Good article.
Yeah, and if you don't want to read it, there is near the top of the first picture, there is an arrow that you can click, and it'll read it to you. So, if you're lazy or have bad eyes like
About
me,
12 minutes.
yeah,
Right.
you can listen to it. 'Cause I can't read that stuff. That's how LT helps me out a lot. He does the reading and then tells me about it.
Right. So,
All right. Well,
anyway,
thank you for sharing your time and
it's
helping
out
me
there.
bring this to the people.
You betcha. You betcha. I think even though we're in crypto winter, things are looking up. So
Yes, they are. So
I
just
expect
get your
big
get your
things
coat
coming
on and go outside with
in
your
the
and play in the
months to
snow.
Right.
Crypto winter.
Right.
All
Okay.
right. I'll wrap
We'll
this
talk
up.
to you later.
Okay.